Hello, guys. I hope you're doing great. We are taken to the biblical times of early civilizations where humankind is still very old. A group of hunters are in the forest, searching for food. They chase after a boar, and when the lead hunter Marlak gets ready to attack, one of his comrades is impaled by a spear. Suddenly, another hunter named Zed shows up and boasts about his aim, thinking he has killed the boar after realizing that he hasn't. Zed apologizes, but faintly whispers that the hunter had blocked his Marlak, hears his snarky remarks, and so the hunters grabs that and bully him. They then return to their village, where we see a guy named O picking strawberries. When Marlak walks past him, he belittles O by tossing away his fruit basket. It turns out that O and Zed have been good friends since childhood. Zed spots his crush Maya and starts to flirt with her. However, she politely rejects him, saying that she wants a man who can protect and provide for her to make matters. Then we see Marlak give Maya a boar's head as a love gift and makes romantic advancements towards her. Meanwhile, O has crush on Zed's sister, but he is too shy to talk to her. Then one of the villagers takes a dump behind his Ed's sleeping quarters, making him furious. So he and O decide to take a stroll into the woods, where Zed goes on a rant about how he is always looked down upon and treated like garbage. They then reach a tree bearing some glowing fruits. It turns out eating this fruit is forbidden, and no one has even dared to come close to it. However, Zed insists on eating it, as he contemplates as to why it is actually forbidden. O tries to stop him, but Zed believes this fruit's gonna make him smart and he can be with Maya. He eats the fruit and claims that he has gained superior knowledge, but he can't even answer basic questions. If you're still watching, please subscribe to our channel. It may not a big deal, but it helps us a lot. Thanks. Suddenly, a giant snake wraps around those feet, making him panic. He frantically asks what they should do, but Zed's replies nonetheless, and so he eats more. Later that night, the villagers have a dance festival that tries to impress EMA and does a weird dance with her. She also gets up and dances with O, but for some reason, he hits her in the head with a stick, thinking that she will like it. Unfortunately, she angrily hits him back. It turns out that someone saw Zed was eating the fruit, so he rats him out, and angry Marlak confronts him about this, and as a result, Zed is banished from the village. However, things get worse for Zed. He accidentally burns the whole village. Hunters chase him down. He runs for his life, and shortly after Marlak finds him hiding below the bushes, Zed is inches away from being killed when all of a sudden O comes to save him and hits Marlak's head. After this, the two make a run for it as the whole village descends into chaos. O thinks that the world is flat, and when they arrive at the top of the mountains, they will fall off. But Zed doesn't believe that. The next day, they see a land beyond the mountains. He then assumes that Zed knew this since he ate the forbidden fruit. After a bit of walking, they come across a herd of cows grazing in a field. Zed decides to kill one of them for food. He lunges towards the cow, but is immediately kicked off. Cain and Abel show up and tells them that we are farmers and cows belong to us. They explain their work. They have a disagreement, which results in a brutal fight. In the end, Cain kills Abel with a stone. Zed and O are witnesses to this crime. He invites them over to his house for supper, fearing that Cain will murder them too if they don't oblige. They reluctantly agree to go the same evening. Zed and O have dinner with Cain's family. The eldest member, Adam, inquires about Abel's whereabouts, and the trio lies that they haven't seen him all day later. Adam asks Zed to sleep with a beautiful girl while he is forced to spend the night with a filthy guy. Zed is ecstatic, thinking that he will finally get laid, but he realizes that she only wants other girls. O can't sleep because the filthy guy keeps farting. The next morning, Adam and some farmers go out to the fields in search of his lost son. They eventually find Abel's corpse and deduce that Cain is the culprit, but by this time the trio has already escaped. The village is currently at a market where they surprisingly spot Marlak, Maya, and Dima in a tied-up state. Zed and OG-3T near the girls and realize that after they burned down the village, attackers attacked and kidnapped all of the villagers to sell them as slaves. Zed tries to buy the girls, but he doesn't have enough money. Cain then says he can help release all of them, but in the end he simply betrays his friends by selling them as slaves in for a horse. Later, Zed, Maya, and the other slaves are locked in a cage ready to be delivered to someone, a third-party tribe suddenly arrives with horses and ambushes the slave masters. During the attack, Zed and O break free and luckily escape. But the attackers got Maya and Ima. The two try to save the girls by spying, but they fall asleep. When they wake up, they find that the attackers are gone. Zed and O make their way to a city called Sodom. In the city, they hear that attackers talking about the place earlier. The movie then cuts to a man named Abraham about to sacrifice his son Isaac due to orders from God. All of a sudden, he is interrupted by Zed and O, who's just passing by. They try to stop Abraham from killing the boy. They claimed that God has sent them to stop him hearing this. Abraham drops his knife and thanks God. He takes them to his village and think they are the holy messengers. But to prove their loyalty, Abraham states that both of them will need to circumcise their genital parts. Afraid, the two run away from the village and make their way to the infamous city of Sodom. But they realize that Abraham's son Isaac has been following them. He takes the two into the city, saying that he and his friends always sneak into Sodom to have fun. They enter the city, but several guards try to catch them, so Isaac runs away while the two are captured and readied for punishment. We see Cain, and he as a guard there vouches for them and saves their lives. In the next scene, the trio takes a walk through the city while Cain explains the perks of being a guard inside the palace. So the next day, Zed and O enter the guards, however they have no skills. Three of them explore the market when suddenly the city's Princess Iniana passes by in her carriage. Zed is immediately attracted to her, but Cain reminds him that he has no chance with the princess as she is royalty. They then head to the palace where they find out that a virgin woman is being sacrificed. This is because the people believe that a sacrifice can make God to give them rain and food and shelter. After the woman is killed by fire, one of the slaves approaches the three and reveals that Princess Inyana has summoned Zed and O. O is taken someplace else by an old male, while the slave escorts Zed into the palace. He then finds himself in an intimate gathering, and it's revealed that the slave who led him inside is actually Maya. After a while, Zed spots O covered in gold paint posing as a statue. The two see Emma. She is being harassed by one of the guards, so Zed pretends to scold her and sends her off. After this, he goes to meet with Princess. Then we see the high priest shows of the holy room and says that whosoever has entered has never returned alive. However, it is said that only the special ones will be fine. Zed claims that he is the chosen one. The princess takes him to the holy room. She manages to convince him to go inside and speak to God to end all of the people's suffering. When Zed enters the room, nothing happens, and he instead finds O hiding from the high priest who was making him to do inappropriate things. Zed then kneels down before the big stone in the middle of the room and prays to God. However, after his prayers, he gets into an argument with O about God, that is, he exists or not. They eventually solve it and leave the room together. They see the high priest and numerous guards who put them into jail because entering the room is against the rules. The next day, they about be stoned to death in front of the people. But before the procedure starts, Zed confronts the king and claims that he got out of the holy room alive. The entire crowd starts chanting for Zed. The king also believes it, so he dismisses their death, but instead of freeing them, he decides to keep them as slaves. Later in the afternoon, another virgin woman is about to be killed for God. But the king chooses his own daughter, Princess Inyana, as he is fed up with her constant grouching. And when Zed finds out about this, he makes a dramatic entry and destroys a construction site in the process. At the same time, Abraham, Isaac, and their troops reveal themselves into full-scale riot begins. The public also starts to retaliate while some of the guards betray the king, killing him and taking his crown. O saves Emma, and he finally confesses his feelings for her, which make the two have intercourse. Zed fights through many guards and eventually saves Maya from the high priest. The priest falls into the pit of fire. O and the crowd all cheer for Zed. They think that he is the chosen one. It also starts raining. However, he finally comes clean and tells everyone that he is just a normal man trying to save his friends. He then says that anyone can be a chosen one if they try harder and make a ford. After the speech, the crowd is sent into a state of frenzy. In the final scene, Princess Jana becomes the queen of Sodom, while Zed and O prepare to go on different paths. O intends on returning to his village to help his people to recover the village, while Zed wants to travel the world with Maya. In the last scene, we see that the two have an awkward goodbye.
This is Redo Recap Channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see more recap of movies or series or anime. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.